I just saw the CMC news and posted it, and I don't even know what to say. Niners lost bad. They got embarrassed, ladies and gentlemen. 35-10 Sunday Night Football. It was an embarrassing game. Niners are last place in the NFC West, 5-7. And Christian McCaffrey suffered a PCL injury, posterior cruciate ligament. So for those, anterior cruciate ligaments on the front, posterior cruciate is on the back. And they're saying it could be season ending. I mean, at this point, if he's injured and he's got a PCL, with the way the season's going, you probably want to shut him down anyways. But that's unfortunate, man. This guy worked his whole season. He worked his ass off all season to come back. And then he just ran him down like a hammer to a nail. And he's out, man. What a season, dude. This team is so unserious. Defense got shredded. Josh Allen, he's the MVP. Caught a touchdown, ran a touchdown, threw a touchdown. He has the same amount of receiving touchdowns as Deebo Samuel this year, who fumbled the ball today. And he, it's bad, man. A lot of mistakes, a lot of penalties. Brock Purdy had a ugly turnover. I mean, the offense just didn't look good. They couldn't target Kittle. They had one touchdown. Isaac Guerrero was about all they could muster. Snow definitely bothered them. Fred Warner playing through the ankle fracture. He just doesn't look great this year. It's unfortunate. He's been playing through the injury. He had cramps in this game. He left. Mason looked good, and they went away from him at times. They, had to throw the ball. It just everything that could go wrong went wrong. The Niners without Trent Williams, O-line just wasn't doing great. They weren't throwing the ball. It just was bad. Bills are a better team. Niners lost their first game on prime time this year. I don't even know what to say. This was just ugly one, man. The DC is terrible. Nick Sorensen is not serious, man. Jake Moody, he missed 2 field goals himself. This team is just bad. They got so many bad. It's the same thing every week. Special teams, same special teams blunders. You fumble the ball. You can't stop the run. James Cook definitely cooked the Niners. They couldn't stop Josh Allen. He is a real franchise quarterback, and he showed the Niners what it looks. At 12 minutes left in the fourth quarter, they took him out and put Mitch Trubisky in. That's embarrassing. You get the backup quarterback with 12 minutes left in the fourth quarter on you. That's just bad, man. Kyle Shanahan just couldn't get up for this game, man. This is probably the biggest game of the season. At this point, Niners had to win it. A tough opponent. They haven't beat a good team this year. I know there's injuries. A lot of players are injured around the league, man. The Lions are ravaged. They find a way to win. You're supposed to be a genius, and they couldn't figure it out. I mean, it is what it is. It's been an ugly season. No Nick Bosa, no Trent Williams. I didn't have too high expectations, although I kind of felt Niners were going to come out and fight. It kind of felt like they were going to. Then once the Bills got the ball, I mean, just momentum just took over it. I was like, oh, wow. There was a drive where they went like 9 plays, 97 yards on the Niners defense and scored. I was like, wow. 3 minutes, 9 plays, 97 yards is incredible. It just, it's unfortunate. 49ers, man. The 49ers defense has been just terrible. It's been bad. That Nick Sorensen hiring was the most questionable move. And I feel like this team has just not really been on a good, vibe all year. They get to the Super Bowl, they lost. You could just tell they're still trying to process that. Is it a hangover? I think so, Super Bowl hangover. And not only that, like, I see players just didn't seem to care at times, going into the offseason, right? You had BA, the drama. I think that drama kind of spilled into the season. Christian McCaffrey wanted to get paid. He deserved his money. He went and got guaranteed money. And then Trent Williams was like, I want my money. And Trent Williams, honestly, I'm mad at Trent, man. I know a lot of people aren't going to agree with me, but this is what happened with Trent Williams, right? He told the team, I'm not going to retire. So the team said, oh, okay, we probably don't need to draft a lineman if we're going to have Trent back. They should have took a lineman. They should have made sure they had a guy just in case. Because Trent does get hurt. He is getting older. He's 36. Okay, they don't draft a lineman. Trent's like, oh, crap. I'm going to go try to get some more money. I'm going to hold out. He holds out, doesn't go to camp, and it was kind of a weird situation because at first I was like, yes, that could be that big of a situation. It became a situation. He didn't go to training camp. I mean, he probably didn't want to practice because he's older. He's like, I don't need to go to training camp. But you kind of need that. You kind of need those reps. That's why you go to training camp. Keep yourself in shape. And now Trent doesn't play, and the Niners' offensive line has been bad. And now they got to seriously think about what the heck's going to happen. They need to draft an offensive lineman, but they also need other positions. Like D-line has not been good. Hargrave got hurt, and this patchwork D-line has been abysmal. They couldn't get pressure. They couldn't stop the run. The linebackers has been an issue because, Greenlaw was hurt this year. And, Fred Warner's playing through an injury, and the linebackers have been bad. They just couldn't stop the run, man. And it's the same thing every week. Special teams has been abysmal. So, unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. What happened to the IG account? Nothing. IG account's still there, cooking. What do you mean? IG account's still there. We're good. Try to scare me like that? You scare me. You scare me, baby. We're still there. I'm gonna go live on that soon, but I figured I'd come on live on YouTube here. Just talk about. I'm so mad for Christian McCaffrey. I'm so mad for Christian McCaffrey. This guy worked his tail off to try to come back, and now he's out for the season most likely. No more defending Debo. Yeah, there's no more defending Debo. He's cooked, man. He just didn't have it. He just doesn't have it, man. And he tries to get those returns, those kick returns, and give this team juice in the second half, but it's not enough. It's not enough. And then the fumble was huge. Debo, I feel, this guy, he told the kicker to, lock in. He was trying to hold players accountable, but somebody needs to hold Debo accountable for his poor play. It's just been really bad, man. Debo has played absolutely abysmal. And, you can't even blame this on the weather. You can't blame this on nothing. I mean, I know the Bills are built for this cold weather games, but still, the Niners, they're a Super Bowl team. They should have been able to come out and dominate. A couple years back, in the snow in Lambeau, they dominated that game, right? The defense just was on another level. Niners don't have that same defense. The juice fumble, that juice fumble. That play, that was it. That was the play that broke the camel's back. That was the straw that broke the camel's back because the Niners kind of had a little momentum. I was like, okay, maybe they could get a comeback. You had Jordan Mason, who basically drove you down there, drove you to the red zone, and you give it to Kyle Juszczyk, who has 4 carries this season. I don't get it. And then he fumbles the ball. Why are you giving the ball to a fullback instead of running back? Free Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason, he has been he's been treated so poorly this season. I don't know what it is. Jordan Mason has put this team on his back multiple times this season. He has been so good for them. And then just go out there and reward them with, we're going to take you off on the red. We fumbled. We're not going to put you in when we need you the most. This guy is so good. I think it's, honestly, I'm going to say this. I think it's politics. I think the Niners know if they keep feeding Mason and he shines and he blows up and has a big season, he could go, he's going to sign somewhere else. Because, they can match his contract. He's a restricted free agent. They can match it. The teams might be like, we're going to pay you $11 million. And the Niners are like, well, we don't want to pay him $11 million. But if he's not getting much burn and he's not looking good, teams are going to be like, okay, he's $3 million. The Niners, we can match $3 million. I think there's politics behind it, and I can hate it, man. Free Jordan Mason. He can't leave. He's a restricted free agent. The Niners have him tied. They have him tied. That's kind of sucks for him. Like, the teams can offer him, but if the 49ers want to match it, they could match it. I think they're going to do that. I don't know. That's the vibe I get. Julia says, as much as I love CMC, Shanahan needs to protect CMC from himself because he will never take a break. That's true, man. He doesn't like taking out, but and Kyle's like, well, we're just going to roll with CMC. He needed to take him out. And tonight he learned his lesson. He just ran him down. He just ran him down like a hammer to a nail. And that's sad, man. I'm so sad for that, man. Joanne Jennings, this guy is probably the MVP of the season for the 49ers. This guy fights hard. He did everything he could to put the team on the back. And unfortunately, it wasn't enough. Looking at their schedule for the rest of the season, they should be winnable. They are winnable, Renee. They are. They seem winnable. The Bears, the Dolphins, Like they seem winnable, but the Niners just don't seem like a serious team. They got too many injuries. Special teams is bad. Defense is bad. The 49ers are not a good team this year. Like they seem winnable to us, but I bet you those teams on their schedule look at the Niners and they're like, oh, it's a winnable game. That's a winnable game. The Niners are now one of those teams on the schedule for other teams. That's probably a winnable game. The Niners are not serious this season. It's really unfortunate. It truly is. Yeah, David's CMC is most likely out for the rest of the season. Yeah, it's sad, man. Sad. Very sad. I can't. PCL injury, man. Josh Allen, though, bro. Woo. Guy is good. A guy is good. The Niners could have drafted this guy a few years back. It didn't happen, as we know. That's tough. That's brutal. It's just brutal. It's just brutal. Honestly, it's just really brutal. The fact that the 49ers have all this talent. It's like the 2020 season, Niners went to the Super Bowl the year before, and then everything just fell apart, injuries, and it's hard. And, Debo said something this offseason. A lot of people didn't like it. They're like, oh, no, this team. He said it's hard to get to the Super Bowl. He says it took us 4 years to get back to this point. And people didn't like that. It's true. This team, I think they're gutted. They're tired. They're wiped out. I think some of them are checked out. Some of them wanted the money. That's the crazy thing. This offseason, like I said, like the drama spilt over to the season. You had BA and Trent Williams. They wanted their money. All these players wanted their money. But they didn't win a Super Bowl. Nobody's really proved themselves all the way. Like, they've been good. They got great players. I get it. But have they proven themselves to win a championship? No. So then they cry and they get mad at the team at the front office, and they got to get their money because you need those players. You need those players. But now those players are hurt. Domino Lenore, I love him. He got hurt. He's not playing. He got a big contract. Debo, he's been MIA this season. BA, he got himself hurt. I mean, I know that doesn't correlate, but still, even before he got hurt, he just wasn't great. Fred Warner's playing through an injury. Trent Williams can't even play a full season. Kyle Juszczyk, they paid him all this money. Kyle Juszczyk was mad that he had to take a pay cut. He probably should take more pay cuts. Man, fumbled the ball in the red zone. Jesus. Jair Brown, he's not good. This draft class they've had over the last couple of years, I know last year's draft class was good, but those draft classes previously were bad, and it's catching up with them. They have to draft really good. Trade Hufanga? You can't trade Hufanga. He's a free agent. You can't trade him. I think he might come back like on a low prove-it contract. They need safety depth, but I don't think he gets a big deal, maybe a one-year deal. You can't trade him. JR says, do the Niners realize that a four-man front only works with an elite D-line? I don't think they do. They're hell-bent on the wide nine, and the wide nine just doesn't work anymore, especially if you don't have the talent. I think they need to find a new DC, approve a DC, and change things up because whatever they're doing doesn't work. Owners should have the hot seat waiting for Kyle. They're not going to put him on the hot. Jed York's not going to put anybody on the hot seat. Maybe Nick Sorensen. Nick Sorensen's going to be the first guy to go. They're going to say, oh, it's Sorensen's fault, which he sucks, but you shouldn't have hired him in the first. You should have been more serious about a defensive coordinator in the first place. Like, that blew my mind that you got this guy that he didn't even have a right to be a defense coordinator. Never been a DC. You're a Super Bowl team, right? You just went to the Super Bowl. You need to get a real, actual DC, like a guy that's proven himself. Nick Sorensen might be good in a couple of years, but he's never done anything. So a Super Bowl winning or a Super Bowl team that lost Super Bowl, they're going to replace their defensive coordinator, who wasn't horrible. The guy that's never even been a DC. That was your first mistake this season. That really was what set the tone. I think that was one of their biggest mistakes going into the season. And they didn't improve special teams, as we know. Their special teams has been horrible. And they keep the coach. That guy's going. He's gone. Special teams coordinator Schneider, he's gone. He's gone. He's for sure. He's going to be gone. And Nick Sorensen's gone. Those are your two guys you're going to get rid of. You're going to retool with some players here. They might need more than a retool. Some of these players are just not serious. I'm not going to lie to you. And I don't think Belichick wanted to come to be a DC. That's the thing. I think Belichick wanted to come to be a head coach, and he wanted a little time off from coaching. He coached a lot. Like, I know everybody who goes to Belichick. I don't think he wanted to just take a DC job. He probably looked at Kyle and laughed. Do I want to be a DC for? Bill Belichick. Vrabel, I agree. They should have brought him in as DC, but I don't know if he wanted to be a coordinator. You know what I mean? Probably looking for a head coach job. But Vrabel would have been the man. That's the guy I really wanted. They definitely got to search next year. That's why you're mad he wouldn't help Kyle win a Super Bowl. Why would he? Why should he? He wants to. If he's going to win a Super Bowl, he wants to do it for himself. I don't blame him. Why did we draft Ricky if we don't throw to him? That's another thing, man. And I love Ricky Purcell. I think he's had a great, cool season. The adversity, great story. Like, I love Ricky Purcell. But you don't draft a receiver if you're not going to use them. 100% agree with you guys. Like that to me is concerning. Like, they should have drafted a lineman. They should have drafted something else, a cornerback. We sat there during the draft and said, I don't know. He drafted a receiver. And he's good. He's talented. But you're not even using him. You're not even giving him the ball. So it's like you wasted that pick. And this was your first round pick in a couple of years. And you went through it as a receiver. You went paid BA. And now you're not throwing it to this receiver that you think is your future. So questionable drafting over the last couple of years, right? Jair Brown, we talked about him. Robert Beal, that guy's so unserious. Drake Jackson, guys are terrible. They got some terrible talent that they drafted. I mean, yes, the Niners do draft good. For all the George Kittles and Fred Warners, we can sit here. I know it. Malik Mustafa, we got some talent. Ronaldo Green, I like those guys. But there's a lot of players that just we're good. It's okay. They didn't draft good in some of these years. It's catching up. Cut Bell. They cut Bell, Ronnie Bell, like 6 weeks, like 8 weeks too long. Should have cut him a long time ago. And Josh Dobbs was QB2 today, but it didn't matter. Should have put Josh Dobbs in it last week. You could have had a chance to win that game. Some of the decision making is just weird this year. Would I take Chris Hewitt, the Ravens assistant head coach for defense coordinator? I mean, he'd be a good candidate. I mean, I want more established. I want a guy that's so established. Like Mike Vrabel, I think would be perfect. Like, he's been a DC. He's been stout defensive guy. I think he'd be good. But I mean, he would definitely be he's an up and coming guy. The Ravens defense is always good. So should have drafted Cooper DeJean. I agree. I thought we were going to. I remember Mike Silver leaked it out. The Niners drafted Cooper DeJean. 20 seconds later, oh, my bad. It was actually Ricky Purcell. I was kind of hyped. I remember that. You can't run another season back with another inexperienced DC. That's exactly what I'm saying. So that's why I said Hewitt, he's good, but I need more of an established DC. I agree with you. My man says Josh Allen's going to choke again in the playoffs. I hope he doesn't. I like Josh. I think Josh, I want to see him beat the Chiefs. I don't know if he could beat the Chiefs twice this year. Did it once. It's tough to beat them twice. They got the reps on their side. Lions, good. They're good this year, but they got a lot of injuries. It might catch up to them at some point. I kind of want Josh to go and win. It'd be cool to see the Bills winning, man. They got a good team. They fucking rocked us today, man. Shout out to the Bills. That team is good. That's a good football team, man. You see them. They play great defense. They play sound offense. They know how to play football. McDermott's a great coach. They got a squad, man. Shout out to the Bills. No hate to them. They're a good opponent. They beat the shit out of us. I got nothing but respect for them. Good team. They deserve to go far. I hope they could beat Patrick Mahomes. My man says, I remember you posted the Cooper DeJean pick. I did. I thought we got Cooper DeJean. I was like, oh my God, the Niners got Cooper DeJean. This motherfucker said, oh, my bad. I was pissed. It was Ricky Purcell. Man, this was tough. Tough game. Again, just ugly game. Niners are in last place. They've been like outscored so much in these last couple of weeks. I think like 60 something. It's been bad, man. They're just getting cooked. Last place in the NFC West. Yeah, it was bad, man. I think everybody was texting me, turn the TV off. I was like, yeah, this is horrible. The season just been rough, you know. So this was coming into the second half of this game. Check this out. The 49ers were outscored 59-13 in their last 6 quarters. This was coming into the second half of this game. And then, of course, they got outscored even more. So, fuck, man, they just been getting trounced. The Niners defense is just so bad. Like, what happened to the defense I loved? So, it's alarming that we get embarrassed by the top AFC teams. Yeah. Kyle does not get fired tomorrow morning. Ronnie Bell was not the problem. He was a problem, but you got rid of him after you stopped using him. So they should have got rid of him a while back. That's the thing, Ronnie Bell, it was a problem. He was taking up a roster spot. You could have cut him weeks ago and then brought in someone at the trade deadline or brought in someone through the waiver wire. There were players that were available. Could have got DeAndre Hopkins for nothing. You could have cut Ronnie Bell weeks ago, and you could have brought in DeAndre Hopkins. Like, that's the kind of stuff 49. They didn't even go after anybody during the trade deadline. They grabbed a guy, Khalil Davis, and he hasn't even played. So, weird season. Sutton. I don't know, man. It was embarrassing tonight. What do we do about Purdy? I don't think we realistically pay him what he wants. He's not going to get paid. If he wants $60 million, Brock Purdy's not getting paid $60 million. He's not. I'm sorry. I love Brock. He's not worth $60 million. He might get $40 million, maybe 50 if he's lucky. He had a terrible performance tonight. He's been up and down. I don't think Brock Purdy's a $60 million quarterback. He's not. He's not going to get paid $60 million. If they pay Brock Purdy $60 million, that's wow. That's crazy. Kareem Hunt, yeah. I love Brock. I think he's our starting quarterback. Maybe you give him a 2-year deal. I don't think you give him a $60 million deal. Telling you, you don't give Brock Purdy $60 million. That would really cripple this franchise, especially after watching this game tonight. They got a lot of needs. Ladies and gentlemen. Remember when I said Purdy over Allen? I was drinking the Kool-Aid. You're right. Allen's the best quarterback right now in the league. He's MVP for sure, 100%. I give him his flowers. Purdy over Allen. Remember what I said? Did I say Purdy over Allen? I must have been really hyped on the Kool-Aid, but I'm gonna be realistic with you. Purdy's not better than Josh Allen. So, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for tonight, man. That was a rough game. Niners got trounced. We'll talk more about it later. I'll probably hop on IG a little later. Christian McCaffrey could be out for the season with the PCL. Niners defense just got rolled over. This team doesn't have much heart. I feel bad for Fred Warner having to play through an injury. Secondary's abysmal. Run defense is bad. Linebackers are horrible. Devondre Campbell got ran over. Niners offensive players, the superstars, they're not superstars. Kyle Juszczyk, Deebo Samuel, getting paid way too much to do nothing. They really didn't even target George Kittle, the best tight end in the game. Juwan Jennings is your team MVP this year. And Brock Purdy just didn't have enough to keep this team fighting. He's good, but he's not Josh Allen. It's a tough season. Niners defense without Nick Bosa, nothing. Niners offensive line without Trent Williams, nothing. So y'all have a good one. We'll be back. Be live on IG soon. That was a brutal game, ladies and gentlemen. That was depressing. Y'all take care now.